Hello and welcome to the Travel Troll. Right, excited about this one. This is Grimes Graves. And from all my research, this is the only prehistoric place I found in Norfolk. And when I first read about it, I wasn't that excited. I thought it sounded a bit boring, but it's got some very interesting facts about it. Now, it's a load of mines from like between 3,000 and 5,000 years ago. I think there's 400 and odd. I'll get onto that in a bit. But yeah, I'm here with Mazzy. Mazzy's just gone back to the car for a minute. We're going to go down the mine. He's told us to go back in 15 minutes. So I thought I'd just come out of the way. These are all mines. I don't know if you can see them, but all these holes, these are the original mines, which haven't been excavated. Only one or two have been excavated and they've found some amazing things in there. But yeah, it's a special place. This was one of the busiest places in Britain at the time. It has to have been, and I'll explain why in a bit. So it consists of about 433 mine shafts. As I say, that's one. That's literally a mine shaft. That's one as well. 433 of them. And they did this, it was all for flint, because in the olden Stone Age days, Neolithic times, they used flint to make the tools, yeah? The arrowheads, the axe heads, things like that. So the biggest pits, the biggest mines they did were, I'm having to read off my notes, I'm sorry. You're going to have to bear with me. There's so many things I have to remember, but I'm trying my best. The largest shafts are more than 46 foot deep and 39 foot wide, and they dug these with the horns, the antlers of deer. So, and it was all chalk. So can you imagine digging through chalk with an antler to all that depth? It says here it would take 20 men about 5 months to get to the bottom of the pit. That's a lot of work and a lot of sweat, I should imagine. It used to be known as Grim, did this area. The word Grim, which is a god. I think it's a Roman god or a Greek god or something called Grim. Because people believed that the area, all these holes in the ground like this, were actually done by this god called Grim. But nobody knew what they were for. Until 1868, they actually dug into one of these holes and they realised there were mines. There were actually mines. And then they noticed it's all chalk down there and you've got flint down there. And it took them a few years to work it out, but they eventually realised these are mines. These are prehistoric mines. These are 3,000 to 5,000 year old mines. Now this is the bit which excited me the most. When I read this, I thought this is unbelievable. Right, there's a few facts I have to tell you. Just bear with me. 60 tonnes of flint would produce 10,000 stone axes. Okay? They reckon here produced 16 to 18,000 tonnes of flint across all of the shafts. Now if you work that out, just bear with me, honestly, it is interesting. You just have to think deep like I do, because I'm weird. That's 3 million stone axes could be made from what they dug out of here. But it gets even more special because you're going back 3,000 to 5,000 years ago. 3,000 to 5,000 years ago, do you know what the population was in the UK? I'm going to tell you. 4,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago, the UK population was 3,000. That's all. 3,000 people lived in the entire United Kingdom 4,000 years ago. 4,000 BC, so sorry, that's 6,000 years ago. So if they made 3 million stone axe heads from this quarry, who did they supply it to? I'll tell you who they supplied it to. The whole world. Well, certainly Europe. They supplied everyone. This must have been... And imagine how many people worked here. There must have been hundreds, if not over 1,000 people worked on this mine. And if the entire population of the UK was 4,000, and you're thinking hundreds, if not 1,000-ish, worked here, That's like a quarter of the population worked here. So this must have been the most important place in Britain at the time, because the most important things back then were obviously heat, shelter, food and axe heads, your tools, because they were the only tools they had. So as well as digging these, you know, being miners, they'd have also had to look after cattle. They'd have had red deer. They'd have had to breed red deer to keep a constant supply of antlers, so that they could actually dig in here, you know, rip their antlers off and use them as tools. So there'll have been like a farm here of deer, red deer, and you know, they've excavated all these places and they've found hundreds and hundreds of antlers. There is one shaft, pit 15 now. I don't know which pit 15 is. There's 433 of them. They're not numbered. It could be anywhere. It could be absolutely anywhere. But pit 15, they did some excavation of it and they found a shrine. An altar of flint lumps had been built with antler picks placed around it, and a figurine of the god Venus. That's pretty cool. So it was some kind of shrine. Now, what was the shrine for? Was it the death of one of the miners? Was it because they were running out of flint and it was like an offering to the gods saying, God, come on, gods, come on, help us out here, we need some more flint. So why ever they did it, they did it. And they've only excavated, I think, 15 of these out of 433, so imagine what else is still under the ground here. I'd love to excavate one myself. I'd love to be Deep Digger Dan, proper Deep Digger Dan, digging into one of these holes and finding antlers and shrines and cool stuff. One thing which absolutely amazes me, on one of these antlers which they've found when they've excavated the area, they've actually found a fingerprint. Can you believe a 4,000-year-old fingerprint still existing on an antler? That is pretty amazing. I don't know if there's going to be any mention of this fingerprint when we're in there. I doubt it. But yeah, that's special. That's possibly the oldest fingerprint ever found. So what would happen, you've got a shaft here, this is one of the pits, and as they dug all the dirt out of it, they'd just throw it into the next shaft, which they've already excavated. So, you know, there was never any rubble or anything, any rocks, you'd just throw it down the next shaft and carry on, and just keep doing that 433 times over thousands of years. And if you want to know when this happened, it's the same time as Stonehenge, pretty much. The same kind of era as Stonehenge. So, whilst they were building Stonehenge... In fact, I bet you anything, because I do know that pretty much all the population of the UK went to Stonehenge on summer solstice. It was like a big thing. I bet you anything, all the miners from here went there once a year to do the rituals at Stonehenge.
He established a curator here in the 70s.
Oh, so it's not just a...
No, that's not just a model.
Ah.
So he goes to schools teaching children about
oh, wow.
Stone Age man. And he comes here and he does napping lessons.
Right,
so
right.
He made these. These were
He makes them?
Yeah.
I see. Well, he looks exactly like Martin. Martin, if you're watching, that's you. That is Martin. So we're in the museum a bit at the moment, and look at these. This is what they cut through stone with. Can you believe that? The horns, the antlers of deer. And this was the spades of the prehistoric times. That's pretty special. What are you doing?
I don't want to hit my head.
Well, if you don't want to hit your head, don't go on your hands and knees and crawl under. Ow. Good job I've got a hard hat on. What are you looking at? It's a 3,000 to 5,000 year old mine, and you stood there with an iPhone in your hand. It just doesn't go, Mazzy. So we've just been down the mine of Grimes Graves. Not that impressive, was it? It were a very, very small hole. I honestly thought it was going to be like big, you know, walkways going all underground. Nothing like that. It was literally a hole with some bars going across and you could just peer in a little bit. Nothing special at all. I think it's £5.40 to get in here, but if you're a member of English Heritage it's free, so we didn't have to pay. Been a bit disappointed if we'd have had to pay though, would you?
Yeah.
How many out of 10 are you giving it, Mazzy?
3. 2, 3.
I'll give it 3.
Yeah.
I'll give it 3.
Yeah.
And that's not a kind, that's an unkind 3, because there is so much history here. It's just they don't present it as well as it could be presented, in my opinion.
Yeah.
3.
3.
But her opinion doesn't count because I'm the professional. If I say 3, it's 3. So that was Graves prehistoric flint mine. See you at the next one. Many thanks for watching, guys. Please don't forget to click like, subscribe, leave a comment and share the video. And be sure to check out my other channel, Deep Digger Dan, and my website, thetraveltroll.uk. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Twitter and on Instagram. But most importantly, please do donate to the charity which we're supporting in this county. All links to everything I've just mentioned are all in the description below. Please come back tomorrow as we continue our adventure to try and make the biggest video library of the sites of the UK. Goodbye!